Good day, all you podcasters out there in Podcastville. This is Rex Johnson, and we're at it again. You know, when I started this a year and a half ago, it was kind of sporadic because I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it or not. But I realized early in my life that I had been vaccinated with the phonograph needle, and I could talk to a stop sign if it wouldn't run away. And so this has just become just kind of a neat thing for me, and I get to choose who I want to talk to. They don't get to choose me, I choose them. And that's pretty much fun. That's a fun thing to do. But we're glad to have you today. It's an honor to have you today. And I've got somebody so special I want to introduce today. Patti and I were married in 1982. And the Lord blessed us. The Lord blessed us with two wonderful daughters. And the first daughter was everybody in the preaching profession would come up to me that felt that they were prophetic, and they would say that I was going to have another little boy because I lost a boy in the tragedy of my first wife and the family. And so they said, a Seth is coming. Somebody's going to be here. You're going to have a son to replace the son that you lost. Well, sitting here with me today is my Seth. But her name's not Seth. Her name is Cassidy Joy. And her last name's Wilkinson. But in my heart, she'll always be Cassidy Joy Johnson Wilkinson. I introduced my daughter, my firstborn of Patti and I, and she is now co-lead pastor with her husband, Brad Wilkinson of Christian Life, Austin, right here in Austin, Texas. And what a joy to have my pastor getting to talk to my pastor today, my daughter, Cassidy Wilkinson. So I welcome her. I'm going to give her a hand clap because she's worthy of it. Yeah. Everybody in Podcastville, clap your hands.
Hello there, Podcastville. What an honor. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, this is pretty special, baby. It's pretty special, and you're very special. And
thank you.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to call you daughter. I'm happy to call you daughter.
I am more than proud to be your daughter.
I picked up the Bible today, and I knew this was in here somewhere. But John the Beloved wrote three little books back here in the end of the Bible, and in 3 John chapter 1, it's the only chapter there is 1, verse 4. He said, "I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth." Cassidy, I am so happy to be your father. Your mother is so happy to be your mother. When we got married, we desired family, and you were our firstborn to Mama Patti and me. And you were born in St. Louis, Missouri, of all places. And, you know, Missouri is called the show me state. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a mule is kind of stubborn. And all my girls have such an identity with real life, with hope in God for themselves, that we feel so blessed to have children like that God has given us. And I talked to your sister not long ago. I did a podcast with her, and hers is going to be altogether different than what yours is.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that all three of our daughters have absolutely a determination of their own, a will of their own. Now, not stubbornness, but just understanding that this is the way and I'm going to walk in that way.
Right.
And you represent that so well as leader of this church, as the co-pastor of this church. And I never dreamed in my wildest imagination.
You never dreamed.
That a little girl named Cassidy Joy, was going to be my pastor one day. I just can't believe it. But I'm living it. And 2 years ago, you and Pastor Brad became co-lead pastors, and what a wonderful job you've done. But let's talk.
Okay.
Just kind of
let's
introduce
do it.
yourself. Just kind of introduce yourself and tell them how much you love your dad and your mom and all
yes.
that. Tell all that.
Yes.
Go
Well,
ahead.
first of all, I think we need to recognize the T-shirt.
Okay.
So you're wearing an amazing T-shirt, and it needs some recognition.
All right.
So pull your coat open. There we
All
go.
right.
They
All right.
call me Bo Daddy.
They call me Bo Daddy.
So let's talk about what Bo Daddy
All right.
is and where that name even came from.
All right.
So
All right.
that is his grandfather name. That is your grandpa name.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's Bo Daddy and
Yep.
Sweet Pea
That's right.
for Patti. And on the back is the list of all the grandchildren.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the origin of Bo Daddy is because this man, for as long as I can remember, has called fellow friends and
Yeah.
other people in his life Bo. Hey,
Not
Bo.
Doc. Not Doc.
Hey, Bo.
Yeah, Bo.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bo.
Yeah.
And I feel like it probably came from, shoot, I don't know that man's name. I forgot
You hit it.
his name.
Are you prophetic, girl? Are you prophetic?
It's kind of like Papa, Mom's dad. He would call everybody, there's my friend.
There's my friend.
There's my friend.
Didn't
And
know
it
his
was
name.
his enduring way of saying, shoot, I forgot your name. And wow, did it touch them to know I am his friend? Well,
Yeah.
that's how Bo is. Wow, I'm his Bo. I'm his Bo.
Oh, the secret's out. I'll never be appreciated again. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you for
But
that.
if you get a bow, I mean, it's like a gold star. So that's a good thing. But
Yeah.
yes, you are the Bo Daddy to, oh my goodness, 9
9
grands.
4 sons and 5 daughters.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
4,
the girls
4 and
win.
5.
The
Yeah,
girls
yeah.
win.
And the first 3 born were boys.
That's right.
Pretty cool.
Yes. So, no, it is such a joy to be on the podcast,
Well,
on the
it's
Rex
an honor
Johnson
to have you,
podcast.
baby girl.
So,
It's
thank
an
you
honor.
so much for asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have such a unique story,
Yep.
and Austin is my home,
Yeah.
even though I was not born here.
He was born in St. Louis
We
at DePaul
got here
Hospital.
as quick as we could,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
arrived in Austin at the age of 6.
Yep.
And this church and this city is my life, and
Yeah.
it has been. And I will never be able to thank you and Mom enough for saying yes to leaving such an amazing congregation of people in DeRidder, Louisiana. I mean, just the fact that you walked by faith in that decision to leave a thriving, healthy, incredible church, growing church, just a wonderful place to come to a very broken place here in Austin and a very small congregation of people that had lost some trust even along the way in the ministry. And what a job that you and Mom had. And I commend you for not ducking your head and looking for somebody else to take on the task of restoring trust and restoring faith in the ministry. And it's changed my whole life. I don't know where I'd be if y'all hadn't said yes to that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine just a different what other place we
yeah.
could be. I can't, because
Yeah.
this
the what ifs.
the
of
what
life.
ifs
Yeah.
of life. I don't
Yeah.
even want to go down that road, because
Yeah.
I'm so grateful
Yeah.
to what God has done through that decision.
Yeah. You know, Cassidy, when when you were born, I'm going back to St. Louis, I traveled a lot. I was going like
Yes.
220 days a year, and because I had to do that. I had to be a PR person for the International Youth Program. I was the youth president. And you girls were being raised, all 3 of you, Misty, the one that came from the tragedy and survived the tragedy, and then you, and then Kaitlin was born. And you kids were just amazingly raised by a mom, really almost by herself. Is almost like a single mom, because I was gone a lot. I was gone more than I was home.
Yeah.
And many times when I would come home,
I don't like the story.
you would go hide behind a chair like I was some kind of stranger.
It's a terrible story.
And it
Breaks
is.
my heart.
It is, but that's what drove us back, because
Yeah.
pastoring was my heart. Pastoring was my passion. And I would go speak at places and speak to large crowds, but I'd have to get on a plane and leave. And couldn't become anybody's friend. I just got there and spoke and left. But I wanted my family to be planted. I wanted to be planted with my family. And so when the church in Louisiana called, we went, and it was a blessing.
Yes.
And such a blessing. And then when Austin called, I knew, I'm a Texan, and I knew I wanted to go home. And I just felt like this would be my life's mission. And for the last 35 years, it has been. But you and Pastor Brad have stepped in 2 years ago, and now I get to sit over in the corner and just cheer, and just say, whoa, whoa, whoa.
And he does.
Yep. I just like to cheer. It's been the easiest thing. It's been the easiest thing I've ever done. Some people said, you can't do this, but I did it. And I'm so happy I did it. And I'm still glowing that I did it because I see what God is doing. Let's go back a little bit, though. Let's go back and talk about you and how that God put you here and how God put us here and how you and Pastor Brad are doing this today. Let's go back and talk about a few of the things that you were frustrated with, like you in school. You had toughness in school. You were very, very shy. You was very shy, and you didn't know how to make friends, and you didn't know how to do math.
No. And this man is a mathematician, but I'm not sure tutoring is his gift.
That's not my gift. That's not my gift is tutoring. It's not. And I would say, don't you get it? Don't you get it? And before I knew it, there'd be tears just running down her face. And
because the volume level would increase every single time. No, there's no, this is a fun story to tell. So I'm born a natural introvert. That's how I was born. That was just, but again, I love this story because it is proof that even if you were born a natural born introvert, you don't have to stay that way.
You don't have to stay that way.
You don't. And
you did.
I was an introvert, but I had an extraordinary extrovert as a father. And so you learn a lot. And it was just a non-negotiable that being a PK, you don't get to stay in your shell. This is a family ministry occupation. It is. And so we're going to do this as a family.
Yeah.
And my mother would practice with us of like how to meet people, how to have a conversation, how to have eye contact, how to engage, and how to be respectful, and how to ask questions that weren't yes and no, but give an answer and when you're asked a question. And so there was a lot of training. Yes. There was a lot of learning how to deal with people.
Right.
And we're in the people business. Yeah. I mean, you got to have a PR. You got to know how to do it. And I would step up sometime and I say, girls, I want y'all to sing for these people. Can we talk about that? That's another thing is once music has always been a part of our life, right. But once it was discovered that my younger sister and I, we caught harmony. Yeah. We caught the harmony bug. Going home from church one night. It was a Wednesday night from church. Yes. And we were coming home and it was, and back then Austin was a little longer drive than it is now. Yeah. It was probably about somewhere a 17-minute drive, which I know that doesn't sound crazy, but now I can get home in 9 minutes. And I asked Mom, I said, it was Mom, Kaitlin, and me, Kaitlin, and Mom in the car. And I said, Mom, how do you sing harmony? How do you do it? You and Daddy y'all sing all the time. We have family that sing all the how do you find the harmony? And, sweet Mom tried to explain this very complex, singing a third above, a third below, and I'll hurry the story, but she taught us in that car ride. A cappella. To the point where we just got it. Yeah. It just one clicked. Ride home. One ride home. And that was the day she had a car phone mounted on the floorboard of her car. She could not wait to get home to tell you. She had to call you right then and there. Yeah. Rex, you've got to hear this. And I was 9. Kaitlin was 6. And we sung 3-part harmony. And it was kind of just the beginning of now you're going to be on stage.
Yeah.
Here's a special, Father's Daddy's hands from Father's Day. And we'd get in an elevator. Girls, why don't you sing for these strangers right here?
No, it wasn't that bad. Baby. Surely it wasn't that bad.
I need a witness. I need a witness.
Well, God's your witness. I'm just denying it.
At any point, at anywhere, you wanted to show that off, and you wanted to.
I was proud of you.
Yeah, and we ended up going on the radio.
Yeah.
We won a radio competition because it was.
You were 9 and 6 by that time, weren't you?
Yes, and it was just you and Mom always pushing us out of our comfort zone. But it really, I credit that to you guys because you just saw something in us and you kept pushing us, it's what started music ministry for me. Well,
we just didn't want you girls to be wallflowers.
No.
We wanted you to interact.
And I appreciate
we wanted you to be leaders.
That. Yes.
We believe that women can lead. And y'all,
Amen.
you have shown
Amen.
that.
Yeah.
You've shown that in all that you are. Let's go through. We had a youth pastor here, came in 1999, and they stayed really 10 years with us. They left in 2008, but they stayed 10 years with us. And it was Jonathan and Alicia Moore, and shout out to them.
Shout out North Rock in San Antonio.
Yeah. So you were in the teenage. You grew into a teenager while they were here.
Yes, sir.
And Alicia, you need to tell this story. We had a choir back in the. Just take the story from
Yes. So, So
how you learned to lead.
Jonathan and Alicia Moore, they were my second set of youth pastors. And they came on the scene, and they were a duo.
Yeah,
they had talent.
They had talent
galore.
Had talent.
They could lead. He could preach. He could sing.
Yeah.
She could sing. She could play. They just had so much to offer our church in those early days. We just thought they were the best things since sliced bread. Truly.
Yep.
And
still think mighty highly.
I
awesome.
adore them, and I credit them so much for all that they poured into me and all that they pulled out of me. But I was their nanny. We were very close, and being a PK and having the staff over so much in our home, I really gleaned a lot from them and really saw them for what they are and what they could bring. And so she came to me at the age of 18. Now, mind you, I didn't have a lot of confidence as a teenager. I really struggled to find my own and to find what does God have for me? I felt in the shadows a lot of my younger sister. She seemed to really be the vocalist between the two of us, which again causes you to maybe step back and say, maybe this isn't for me.
And
maybe
that was still in your DNA.
It was just really trying to find my footing, and I didn't feel like I could compare to her. And so Alicia came to me at 18, and she was at that time leading our worship department and over our choir, which at that time was a thriving ministry.
60, 70 voices.
60, 70
fully
voice
robed,
choir.
Fully robed.
Oh, we were robed.
And they bought 3 different kinds of robes because they'd get tired of a certain color, so they'd go get another color. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And
so
ahead.
it was a thriving ministry.
Yeah.
And at the age of 18, which is just wild, she came to me and she said, there's going to come a time when I can't direct this choir, when I'm out of town, when I'm gone, and I need someone that can take this ministry. And I remember being like, me?
Turn the volume up.
And it was a moment. It was a moment that really
defined your
first
future.
Person outside of my kin, outside of family, saw worth in me and saw potential in me, and she saw it and she called it and she believed in me.
And also it developed you as a no fear person on a stage singing yourself.
Correct. I mean, there is so much that goes into leading worship. There's
is.
so much that people don't realize. the confidence you have to have in doing so. And so I was a student under her.
Yeah.
I had been in the choir, so I had been viewing and seeing all that how she led, and she just discipled me, and she trained me, and she taught me, and she prepared me, and she put me in uncomfortable situations and would give me feedback. And she really saw something in me I never saw in myself. And so my sisters love to tease me about this, but I had to get in front of the mirror at home and learn how to direct a choir. I mean, I would turn on my choir music and just learn how to do it. What do I look like? You got to practice that. Yeah. And fast forward a little bit, when they did leave to go plant a church in San Antonio, I stepped in full time without her holding my hand. Mm-hmm. And I was leading 60 to 70 people in this community, in this choir. That is a small church.
That's right.
And to see how God just does what he does. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it then, but I was learning how to pastor.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's
what you call the sheep on the backside of the mountain.
That's it. That's it.
Little David out there.
That is exactly what I was doing, and I didn't see it then, but I was leading, inspiring, encouraging, reaching out to. I was constantly communicating and praying for, and it just became something that it was just me, that I was pastoring these people, and I didn't know it then. Yeah. I only realized it later in life that this is the kind of thing, this is why you don't say no to opportunities that are presented to you for ministry.
That's right.
It may seem very insignificant.
Say yes.
It may seem very...
God loves to hear a yes.
If you just say yes, God's just looking for someone just to say yes.
That's right.
And it may seem small. Then I go back to the days of vacation Bible school, and they would ask me will you do the worship for the kids? And it can look like, well, this isn't really that significant, but you just say yes.
Yeah, it is.
And you learn how to be on a stage, and you learn how to lead. And again, whatever area of ministry this is, it doesn't have to be a stage. It's just saying yes to the Lord, because there's something you're going to learn in that season that's going to help you down the road.
Beautifully stated, yeah.
And so that was such a developmental time for me. Again, didn't know where it was going to lead, didn't know what was going to come of it, but God knew.
So let's talk a little bit about family now.
Okay.
You've got you and Brad. Do you want to go into that a little bit?
Sure.
I don't want you to take a long time on that, because this is quite a story. But Brad was 7 years old when we came to church, and you were 6. And y'all never even knew the other existed until you got up in age, and then he went away to Bible college, and had y'all dated a little bit before
So
then?
Everyone tried to matchmatch us.
Yeah, that's right.
He took me on my...
Everyone with sense.
Everyone tried to matchmake us, but there was just
sense.
there was none of that. We were friends. We were just friends. And so to kind of shut everybody up, he took me on my first official date, where a boy comes to the door, picks you up, takes you out.
I think I remember that.
It was probably the shortest date in history, because it just wasn't the time. This was not our time just yet. And it was one of those when he dropped me off. We went to dinner and we went home. One of those where he dropped me off. We should do this again sometime. Yeah, we should. And nothing came of it. I was 17 at the time.
He might have had a little introvertness in him too.
Oh,
just a little.
Yes. Brad was not a big outspoken personality at all.
But a strong soul, soul. And so in the process of time, he went away to seminary, went away to Bible college, and you were here, and he would come back, and y'all started getting serious, didn't you? A little bit.
So yes, so he had, and I know this is a longer story, but he spoke after just being at Indiana Bible College for just a few months, and he had to reach out to you, Pastor Pastor help me write a sermon. I've never written a sermon in my life.
I gave him a sermon. I did.
And so he preached his first sermon to his peers.
Yeah.
It was the chapel service there in Indiana. And I don't know why.
He became the president of the class, didn't he?
He did.
He did. He
Student
was very
body
popular.
president.
Yeah, student body president. He was very
And
nice school. Good.
I
That's
don't
neat.
know why. I don't know why. But I really thought that was awesome. I thought that was really cool that he preached his first sermon. And so there was something in me that said, I should reach out to him. I should reach out to him and call him and just see how it went. I didn't even have his phone number. Now, this is also the date. This is going to date me, but there was no texting at this time.
No.
Cell phones were fairly new.
Bring
fairly
that back,
new.
Lord. Bring that back, Lord.
We had our little Nokias at the time.
That's right.
And had to get his
pagers.
phone number.
We had pagers. Yeah, we had
yes.
pagers, yeah.
Had to get his phone number from his best friend to say, what's Brad's number? I don't even know his number. And I was outside of Chili's. It was a Wednesday night after church, and I stepped outside and called him, which stunned him. He was not expecting me to call him. And it was a quick conversation of just, I heard you spoke. I think that's awesome. I was 18. I was young. And I just said, I think that's really cool. And it was quick. Well, it kind of just.
There was a method to your madness.
There wasn't. For the record.
No method.
For the
Cut
record.
That. No record for the record.
But that kind of just got the ball rolling, and it wasn't intentional. It was just to be a friend. And but yeah, so we dated long distance.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
Yeah.
And
then you were 22.
22 when I got married, almost 23.
Beautiful wedding. A lot of people
Amazing.
came. And what did I call y'all when I introduced y'all that night?
A lady and a prince.
That's what I said, yeah. And I still believe that.
So sweet.
And now, you've got 3 children.
3.
And the oldest is a 14-year-old boy.
14. It's happening too fast.
Talk about them just a little bit.
So I have 3 children. Windsor Garner Wilkinson is my firstborn. He's my only son. He's 14. And then I have 2 daughters.
And a little gentleman. He's awesome.
Everybody loves Windsor.
Yeah, the Wilkinson family are all just pretty neat.
The Wilkinson
people.
men. There's an incredible line of incredible men.
I inherited the grandpa.
Yes.
Brad's
Arthur
father,
Wynn.
Pastor Brad's father, and now Brad,
Barry
and
Keith,
now
Bradley Keith.
Now I'm a grandfather. I'm a grandfather of Little Windsor. Yes, that's neat. Go ahead.
And then I have 2 daughters. I have the next president of the United States, Caroline Tate Wilkinson.
She does not have an inferior bone in her. She
is 11 right now.
Lord, that child is something else.
And then my baby is Ellery Joy,
Yeah.
and she is 8 right now, and she's
got some gray
super
matter up
smart.
here. Yeah, she's
amazing.
Yeah.
So I do. Our children are our lives, and
they're wonderful. And we love when y'all go out of town so we can keep them.
Yes,
We love it. We love just because your kids are old enough to do their own thing. They can comb their own.
Independent. That's right. That's right. Independent.
Just have to take them places, and we enjoy it. So I love them, and I love you, baby girl. And you know what? I'm so happy that God gave you to be my Seth. I'm just happy. I mean, I couldn't have chosen. I couldn't have chosen anybody that would be any more lifting, blessed than what Cassidy Joy. You know, in the Bible, people that became something, their name meant what they became. And we called you Cassidy Joy, thinking that you would be that for the sorrow that had come into my life. And baby girl, you're 40 what now?
I'll be 41.
I know. On your birthday, November 22nd. You was born 20 years after Kennedy was assassinated. but the joy of having you all these years to call a daughter, you just absolutely, you rung every bell, you checked every box. And it wasn't about that kind. We didn't expect that, but you became what your name was. You lived up to your name. You were a total joy. And that inferiority complex that you had, somewhere you hit a switch. A switch came on, and you and Pastor Brad lead with such goodness and grace. It's I know you say you stand on shoulders, but y'all are building something so massive in this house also, and it can't be laid on us anymore. It's y'all, and you have done that with honor and integrity and love. I watch you work a crowd. I watch you love on people, and it's not working a crowd. That's just the phrase that they use in politics. But you know how to cover every base, and I'm just so grateful that God blessed us with you. God blessed us with you, and now, what are you going to get me for Christmas for saying that? You have something in mind?
I know. I need to get on that.
Wrap this up.
Well,
Baby Cass, wrap this up.
It's been an absolute honor of our lives, something we never intended. We didn't seek this path out.
No, not at all.
God just orders your steps.
He orders them.
And I just so appreciate the support and the encouragement. We heard a lot of things would come from this transition. Just people's stories and people's experiences.
And usually it's not good.
Usually it's not very good.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, how is it that ours is so healthy? And it's not just something we say, it's the truth. It's just so beautiful to see you stand to your feet every time Brad takes the stage. And it's something you do privately. It's something you do publicly. You affirm us. You support us. You have our backs. And Daddy, there is no doubt we are here because of the Lord Jesus Christ, but because of you and Mom. Yeah. And we just can't thank you enough for paving the way and giving us the keys to a Lamborghini, as my husband loves to say.
I've never been behind the seat behind the stern wheel of a Lamborghini. I don't know what that is. That sounds like a foreign language. We're doing the best
to not wreck it.
Well,
but
I love you.
We honor, and we will continue as long as there is breath in our body. We will continue to honor you and thank you and point back to all that you have done. Yeah. We know we're not Rex Johnson.
No.
And we're not called to be. We could never fill the shoes of Rex and Patti Johnson.
You're who you are.
But we're going to stay in our lane, and we're going to do what God has called us to do, but to have you not demand perfection, but just to say, go, baby, go, is everything that we need. That's right. And I thank you.
And by the way, I've checked, you and Brad's feet are getting longer too. I've got a pretty big step right now also.
So
and you've done well. The church has just grown exponentially, and I'm proud of you. And we won overtime because we got to talking about the good things of God. But thank you for joining in today. I'm going to bless you, dear Father. Bless those people that listen to this and watch this podcast today. I ask you to touch their lives. Thank you for our children. Thank you for the church. And thank you for people that tune in. We bless you now in the name of the Lord, and have a great, great day. And the Wilkinsons send their love, and the senior pastors Johnson send their love to you. God bless you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next month.